Hey, what is up everyone? So we just finished having our first community direct in Sea of Thieves, and it was definitely very interesting, I will say. It's the first one they've done that was like this. Obviously they talked to us in the past, but they're viewing these community directs as a little bit of a different thing. They're going to happen every 6 months, so the next one we should be seeing is in about December, January, around that time. And for this video, I just want to kind of summarize what's going on with the game and some of the things that they announced in it. If you want to see the full thing and me break down and react to the whole direct, you can check out the live stream. I'll leave that linked here. Definitely recommend going to check that out if you want to just kind of get fully in depth with everything and just get my full thoughts on all the different little tidbits that was getting added. So the first thing that they announced was big changes to the Insider program. So the Insider program, if you're not familiar with it, is essentially their like beta testing program for Sea of Thieves, and it's where they have actual players test out features that are coming up for the game. For the whole time that the Insider program has been a thing, it's been locked under NDA. So people that are inside the Insider program cannot talk about anything that they have learned about future game updates in there. So for example, like the stuff with Season 17 and things like that, anyone that's in the Insider program was not able to talk about basically anything about Season 17 except for what was publicly announced. Now they are lifting that NDA and removing that restriction, so now anyone can talk about the Insider program and it's basically free reign. That's a pretty interesting change on its own. It's kind of a mixed bag. I think on one hand it's really nice because everyone can be a little bit more candid and open about their thoughts and stuff. You don't have to be kind of, I don't want to say two-faced, but you know, it's kind of like that where you know information but you have to kind of pretend like you don't know the information. It will also, and the reason that they're making this change, hopefully make it so that they can get better feedback from a wider selection of the player base. Whether that's going to be true, I don't know, but we'll see how that works out going forward. They're also planning to make bigger changes to the Insider program, basically doing a full relaunch of the program in 2026, where it will be more engaging and rewarding for people that are part of it, and they're going to take different parts of like the different community groups that they have that focus on different areas of the game and kind of merge them all into the Insider program to make it more of like a central hub for, you know, the most engaged players to kind of interact with Rare in that way. So I'm interested in that. I'm hoping that they make changes and then, you know, I can get a little bit more rewards for being an insider, because once I finished the cosmetic reward path back, you know, about a year or two ago, I stopped playing Insiders because there really was no reason for me to keep playing it unless there was something that I was interested in checking out. So with that said, the next big change that they talked about was basically their new approach to seasons, and it feels like they changed the way that they approach seasons pretty often, but currently the next way that they're looking at approaching seasons is in a 3-month structure, where the first month is going to be kind of like their big updates, the sandbox feature changes, and like the world building setup. Their plan is to bring in more lore and storytelling through these updates, which is something that's been a little bit lacking in the last several years of the game. So the first month's going to be where we get our main new content added, and then month 2 is going to be some type of new live event that's going to have a lot of lore implications, and it's going to be similar to, if you remember, we had the Dark Fortresses event happen back in January of this year. It's going to be kind of similar to that, those type of events, but with more lore implications and maybe a little bit more to it, and that's going to be like what they have as their second month's content update. The third month's content update, it was a little bit unclear in the developer direct video when they were talking about it, but on the blog post that they put afterwards, it's a little bit clear what they're trying to do for month 3 of the seasons. And this is, they say, a call to action moment for players, and where they revisit and revitalize older aspects of the sandbox. So for Season 17, what they're going to do is they're going to revitalize the original skeleton forts and kind of upgrade them. So in the blog post, it makes a little bit more sense. So basically the third month is going to be something new, but it's basically going to be taking something that already exists in the game and then kind of updating it. So that, I think, is a good change. I do like that aspect of this new seasonal approach structure. But the example that they gave for the first time that they're doing this new season approach with Season 17 left a lot to be desired. So what they announced for Season 17 is new smuggler hideouts, new types of loot, and then these new smuggler runs, which are going to be like kind of like cargo runs, which we already have for the Merchants Alliance. Obviously, we already knew about the new gunpowder kegs that are coming in for that, And they also talked about stuff like having better loot inside of shipwrecks, as well as having these new kegs on skeleton ships. Personally, all that doesn't sound like new updates to me. It all just sounds like recycled content stuff that we've already had in the game, but maybe just with a fresh coat of paint. It's nothing new. But they're trying to say that that's brand new stuff and that's a showcase of their new approach to seasons. And if that's the new approach, that's very disappointing to see. For month 2 of season 17, we're going to get a live event like we talked about, and it's going to be in the form of a heist. And then month 3, it's going to be refreshing the skeleton forts, which we already talked about. Another change that they're doing with this that they announced is that community weekends are going to start happening at the beginning of the seasons, and then a Golden Glory weekend is going to happen at the end of the seasons. So that's a good change, I guess. It's something nice to know, but with that change, we're not getting a community weekend for season 16, which I don't really know why we can't have a community weekend for season 16. I guess they don't want it to be, back to back in terms of like having one after another, for July and then August, both having a community weekend, but I don't see why that would be an issue. A community weekend could definitely have fit in there. Like, it could have fit in for this week. It would have been a way to tie in the community direct, have the community direct be the thing that kicks off the community weekend, but apparently they didn't want to do that, so a little bit odd. And I don't know if y'all can hear the thunder outside. It started pouring down rain as I started recording this video, but we're gonna keep trudging along. So they announced for season 18, they teased a little bit. They didn't really give firm details about season 18, but basically it's going to be focusing on the Devil's Roar, and it's going to have new ancient shrines and expanded Smugglers League gameplay as part of season 18. So hopefully the Smugglers League gameplay in season 18 is more significant than what we're getting in season 17. So far, the Smugglers League has not made a good impression on me for what we've been seeing as their updates to the game, but maybe season 18 will actually bring something new for them to do. Then finally, the direct ended with an announcement that custom servers are coming to the game. This was an interesting announcement too, something that I'm pretty excited for and something that I've wanted for a long time. However, I don't think for the majority of players they're going to like this. I really feel like this is an update focused on content creators rather than the general player base. I think there's going to be general players that would enjoy having customer servers for a period of time, but something to keep in mind with this is it's not going to be free. Custom servers will be added in early 2026, and they'll be part of a new subscription model for the game. Now, I'm hoping with this subscription model that they add additional stuff. Maybe you could get like the Plunder Pass included with it and some other stuff. That would make sense. It'd be kind of like an equivalent to Fortnite Crew in that way, but hopefully they make it worth it. Maybe they give you a little bit of ancient coins, maybe they give you the Plunder Pass, and then you get this custom servers as part of it. And if they can keep that price kind of low, if they can make it like maybe like 12 or 15 bucks a month, maybe that would be worth it for some people, but I really think it's only for content creators that would be worth it for. But there's some interesting features with custom servers. You'll be able to set up anything that you want. You can turn on different ships, have whatever ships that you want spawn in. You can turn off AI enemies or turn them on. They talked about setting up like your own custom games and stuff in there. You can also use the subscription to do safer seas, but with fleets, so all your friends could be on different ships, which is something that I've talked about for a long time that needed to be in safer seas. That would have been really cool to have, and they're finally doing that. And then they're also adding a cinematic camera so that you can make like really cool videos and stuff that's similar to like what they do for their gameplay trailers and things like that for the official Sea of Thieves videos. So now, any content creator can make really nice looking cinematic videos. That's something that I'm really excited about. The only thing that would have been a little bit better for this is if the cinematic camera was more of like a replay mode, similar to like how it's set up in Fortnite. So like if you had a major battle in the game, you could have gone back in later and kind of had like a free roaming camera to follow it around. That obviously would have been super hard to do, but that would have been really cool to have. But what we get right now, cinematic camera for more like B-roll shots, is going to be really nice to have as well. But with that said, that covers everything that you need to know about what was announced at the Community Direct today. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on all these different features, I'll leave a link to that live stream. I definitely recommend checking that out if you're interested. But if you enjoyed this video, it'd be great if you like and subscribed. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, y'all.